And here we are with
David Brayshaw from Backspindle Games.
And how long are you making games for?
Since 2010. We started with Terry Pratchett, Guards. Yeah.
The guys at the local gaming community love that one basically all the time. What geeky games do you have for geeky gamers?
Geeky Games we have at the Expo. We have a brand new release which is Codinca. Codinca is a little pocket game, travel game if you want. Setup of the board is in the box.
Yep.
Stick it in your pocket, take it with you. You can all do this, no problem. And basically each player is playing with their earth, wind, fire, water, 2-player, 3-player, 4-player. You have 4 target patterns. You'll each have a block of 4, a diagonal, a line of 4, and 4 corners. 4 corners is 4 of 9 or 4 of 16. Diagonal 1 of 2 ways, straight line left or right. 4 together, whoops, is 4 anywhere. All of these 5 places make that 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Simple turns. You have 3 options: move and flip, move and move, or flip and flip, and you must always involve your tiles.
Okay.
So if you're playing with red, you can move and flip any other tile or the same tile. You can move one of your tiles, move it again, or move another one of your tiles. That's move and move. Or you can flip one of your tiles and any other tile, maybe your opponent's tile. Objectively, you make one of your patterns like this, you show it to your opponents, and then you've only 3 to do. You keep these hidden during the game.
Is the pattern on there, does that mean they all have to be yellow, or does that mean they have to be your 4 in that pattern?
You would have to have them all in gold, like that.
Wow.
All together. So that's why you've got the flipping action.
Yeah.
In addition to that, what have I done with my, here we go, wait, spirit cards. Each player gets 3 spirit cards, but bear in mind you've only 4 patterns to make, so you have to be frugal with these. On the back of them you have a thing called block rotate, so you can rotate these around to disguise your moves.
Yeah.
Or you have a line push, which again you can push them up to disguise your moves. On the other side of it you have a trap. Traps can be played, so if I say for instance wanted this to be white, stone, gold and white for instance, I would play that way, and I could turn these to match the pattern. So this would be gold, 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 gold,
I see.
white, 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 and gold, and white, and white, and white. Yep.
I'm in.
And that basically matches the pattern.
Yeah.
So there's 3 ways of disguising your moves. First player obviously to make their patterns wins the game. The only one rule in it you must follow playing at all times is you cannot turn back the last thing your following opponent did. So if I for instance playing red or you're playing purple and I swap yours and turn yours over, you cannot turn that one back.
Can you do that? Or is
You
that
can move them back because that's not the last action.
Fine, and then you can flip yours over. Yeah, I'm with you.
And that is the game. 2 players fun, 3 players gets a bit challenging, 4 players is like, come on! Because you could inadvertently, in moving, say I was setting up the purple ones, I could inadvertently go, let's say I'm going for purple and going this way and going that way. I could inadvertently.
Your purple's a diagonal.
I've done my purple diagonal, I've got it, but look what else I've done.
Yeah, the green.
I've set up the green for 4 corners.
And you can just go, and then complete that one there.
Yeah, and that's.
I've got this. I'm in.
So basically that's it. It's a Codinca game. Codinca. It comes in the box with 6 languages: German, English, French, Polish, Spanish, Dutch. Did I forget one?
No,
that's 6.
That's most of them, I believe.
Yep, that's 6 languages. So that is Codinca, and it's at the Expo. It's on our website, backspindlegames.com, and it will be in the stores through a stadium in the UK probably mid-July.
That's good for me, that's what I need to know.
And that's the first game.
Okay, do you want to talk about Clacks as well, or is it...
Clacks is our second Discworld game based on Terry Pratchett, based on the book Going Postal. Our Discworld games, we try to have the feel of the Discworld, so in Guards, you play a City Watch member, and you have like the whole screw ability of being a City Watch member. If I do this might happen, but I can do this on him, and I might do that on them. So you have like lots of stuff to do. Clacks is based on the Going Postal book by Terry Pratchett, whereby we recreated the race between the post office and transmitting letters in the Clacks towers. So basically in the cooperative game you're trying to transmit 2 words. So this says dwarf and golem. And as you transmit your letters, you cover up your letter and you put a Clacks tower on and you light them all up. You get to hear first, you win the game. But you're racing against Moist von Lipwig. As you spend points, he moves along the Clacks route. He gets there, he wins.
Yeah.
So basically you're playing cooperative and you have things called jack cards to turn the lights on and off. So if you want to make an S, this is an S already sitting here from this direction. So if this was already sitting, for instance, like that, and you had this to play, you could play it that way, and you can turn those two over and those two. You must affect one of the 6, and you say, there's my S. Cover up your S, light up your letter, and count how many points you spent, and the moist moves. That's a cooperative game. You also have a couple of cards for dipping out, so if you pick up a tough card from your jack cards, like 4 corners, which isn't a lot of use, but sometimes can be, you can say, well, actually, I'll play that out of the way, I'll discard that, I'll take this because I know I can make my next letter an M or whatever it is, or a W. It'll cost me 3 points. Fair enough, he moves 3 points, but I will get my letter. But I also must take the card, which is a flavour text card and maybe a bad effect on the card. And this one is actually Miss Chris Block, who's a rather curvy reporter. She's hard to persuade to turn away. She imposes on you and you can't turn her down. In this case, the post office gets a bonus of 2 tiles, so you're sort of struggling. There's 3 games in the one. Player versus player, you use the middle of the board and you move these little meeples about. You can block each other off. Cooperative we've talked about, and the third one is an introductory 2 players children's game around the board, and one child will play this way or one beginner and the other this way. You don't have to worry about strategy and points. And that's the 3 games.
I like it. The guys absolutely love this game at the club we basically have as well. Sam has it and he absolutely loves it with our friend Simon. Hi Sam, hi Simon. So last question, if your company is a mythological creature, what would it be?
I think we'd have to create a new mythological creature. It would have to be a creature with some sort of, fighting spirit, because I'm a martial artist, and creative talent, because my colleague Leonard is a graphic designer. So I would be some sort of, I would probably have to fly as well, because I like the whole idea of Mark Rivera as part of our team now, and he's like a blow-in from America. So for me, it would be some sort of like Wolverine type creature with wings, and maybe some sort of creativity there as well. I'm not quite sure how creative a Wolverine it is, but I know it's adaptable, and that would probably be Leonard.
I'm sure we can make some sort of a picture of a Wolverine appear with wings. We've got a lot of these sort of talents. It was a pleasure meeting you anyway. No worries. Enjoy the rest of your expo. Everyone, bye-bye. All right, here we are. And you are?
Keith Mallet, ATB Games and Kedo Games.
Kedo Games as well. I like it. So what geeky games do you have for geeky gamers?
Well, we've got family games, we've got sports games, and we've got strategy games.
And is any of these a sort of a key launch line for you at all?
Yes, we're launching the card games very soon.
Yes.
And Scarper and Dimesion Six.
What have you got coming up in the next year?
Well, the games I just mentioned, but very excited about the card games and the dice games, because they're really unique. There are no other games like them. You actually play a real match.
Oh, you play a full,
full match.
And how long does it take to play?
We can decide with the card game. It can have 10 minutes each way, 15 minutes each way, or whatever. And same with the dice game. It's very fast, and you have all the excitement of a real game.
I like it. It sounds good. There's been a big gap in the sort of football market for sort of like card. Obviously, you've got the Subbuteo and all those sort of things, but this obviously is a good gap in the market for.
Design these for promotion, people, and for playing on planes and trains, in the caravan, in the car, that kind of.
So you don't need much space to play it then?
No, you can put it in your pocket. People like to play it in the office as well.
Okay, last question. If your company was a mythological creature, what would it be?
Very difficult to say, but probably Pegasus.
Pegasus?
Yeah, football.
Football, it's got wings, it can fly and go everywhere.
Yes.
Pleasure meeting you anyway. Have a good one. Bye. Here we are with Z-Man Gaming to talk about Beyond Baker Street. And you are?
I'm Steve.
And I'm Robin.
And we're basically they're going to tell us about their game. Who shall I put the mic nearest to?
Shall I go for it? You go. Okay, so it's a cooperative card game for 2 to 4 players, and basically it's as you can see, it's in the world of Sherlock Holmes, but you're not actually playing Sherlock Holmes, you're playing against him. So he's represented by this little cool Sherlock meeple here, and basically what you are your members of Scotland Yard and their associates, and Holmes thinks you're bumbling idiots, as he says in the books, so you're trying to prove him wrong by confirming the leads, suspects, motives, opportunities before he does. So basically you're going to be playing different characters, you're going to have a hand of cards, and you're not going to be able to see what those cards are. So as a group they're facing outwards, they're facing your teammates, and you're going to have to be giving each other clues to what your cards are, so that when you know enough information about one, you can be able to play them down either to these piles here, or to the impossible. As the quote goes, once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. So you're trying to match the icon on the score on each of these 3 types of cards, and you're trying to get 20 points in the impossible. Every time you do an action, like you help a teammate, Holmes is going to move 1 further to 0. If he gets to 0 before you've solved the case, he wins, he beats you. This is the easiest case. We have 6 case files here, so Holmes starts on 15. Later ones, you've got much more difficult ones. Here, Holmes starts on 8, so it's obviously going to be a lot more difficult to solve this case. And then we've got 18 characters in the base game, and they each have different powers. So things that you can or can't do while you're playing that character. Indicated by the number of pipes on the bottom, depending on whether you want to make it easier or harder in the game, or whether you have experienced gamers or non-experienced gamers. So we tried to create something that we think experienced gamers will like, but also you could play as a family, or with casual gamers as well.
Okay, that's cool. Like it. So we're going to ask you 3 questions. Hopefully you can answer some of them. We know if you can't, it's fine. What geeky games do you do for geeky gamers?
What do we play? We'll play.
You as a company, we'll take either or as an answer.
I mean, we'll play anything. Basically, we will play anything.
Play any game twice is the answer. Love cooperative games, competitive, doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're the designers rather than the publishers, so Z-Man have published, but I think they kind of felt that it fitted in with that cooperative line they've got with the Pandemic franchise and things like that, so it kind of fits into that feel of being that team game.
What other games have you published? Or what other games have you designed, sorry?
This is our first published game.
And did you go by Kickstarter, or did you go straight through?
No, we're actually really lucky. We put it out on BGG and as a print and play, and then Rado picked up on it and thought he liked the game, actually sent a message saying this looks cool, and then a friend of his also from BGG happened to go around his house with a really nice printed copy and left it with him, and he did a review, and all of a sudden, you know what Rado's like, people start picking up on it and going, hey, this looks good, and that's sort of how we got contact first with Z-Man, and then...
Brilliant, that's really good, very exciting stuff. Do you have anything else in the pipeline you can talk about? Like, you can say no, obviously, at this point, because it could all, I know it's all very hush-hush sometimes, these sort of things.
It's in the pipeline, but nothing we can talk about.
Yeah, it's fine. If you were, I'm going to say you're a company at this point, as a brand, as yourselves, if you're a mythological creature, what would you be?
As a brand?
Okay, I'm going to say Hydra, because it's possibly fairly obvious, but it's got that many head thing. I mean, we've got so many ideas, and I think all designers do. You're chasing so many things, and we try something, and then we go, no, that's not going to work. Cut the head off, and then 2 more grow out of that.
I'm glad it wasn't a case of you had to kill one of the 2 of you off at that point, and then say, I will become more.
And then I'll expand.
Thank you very much. Pleasure meeting you. Thank you very much. Cheers. Hi, here we are. I'm with
Cesar, Daniel,
and we'll be looking at Lab Wars today. And if you could tell us about games that you make and what you do.
Yeah, so me and my wife, we started up the publishing game UK Games. So the whole point about a lot of the games we make is sort of scientific themed. We are branching into other themes as well, but it's predominantly science and where it's fun, mainly strategic, but also a little bit educational as well. So yeah.
Okay, that's good. Can you tell us a little bit about the game itself?
Yeah, or so Lab Wars is a game where you are a research team. So the research team is here. Each player has the research team, and each one gets a bonus. You get to sabotage other players. The point about the game is that you build up your lab, conduct experiments, sabotage competitors, and you're trying to be the most impactful lab for the generation.
So I'm going to take it from the name Wars, it's not a cooperative game then?
No, it's not. We were thinking about cooperativity, but then people wanted to sabotage people a bit more.
It's like, we've got Pandemic, we don't know about that one, we could actually have a game where we work against each other, I like it. So do you have any games coming up in the future, or what have you got coming up in the next year?
We have another game called Bear Bistro, that's a family game. And we have another game which we don't have a name for yet, where you're sort of building up different cell types That's going to be more of a family game as well, but more educational.
I know this might be a silly question, but what bear are we talking about here? Is it an animal, or are we talking as in just no clothes at all?
Just think about forest bears who steal food from restaurants.
I like it. That's a good one. Okay, now I've been told I can move over here for this last question. If your company or brand was a mythological creature, what would it be?
A mythological creature? Well, if it was a real creature, it'd be a black cat, because like Schrodinger's cat, because we've got to be scientific, that's a scientific example. A mythological creature, probably a unicorn. A unicorn.
Any particular reason why a unicorn?
Just because I think it's something science could create one day, and there's people want that, yeah? People want a unicorn, to see a unicorn. I'd want to see one, so.
Are you happy with that as an answer?
That's great.
That's great. What more could you ask for? Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Pleasure meeting you. Have a good one.